Carjacked and nearly run over. Tonight, a woman says she was re-victimized when she was placed shoulder to shoulder with one of her attackers during a court hearing. In an exclusive story, Natisha Land spoke with the woman and DeKalb County's DA to try to find out how a mistake like this could have happened in the first place. Natisha?
Ron, the DA is calling it a bad stroke of luck that put Laura King right next to one of her attackers, a man who had been released from prison without her knowledge, but the DA's response is only leading her to more questions.
I didn't know what happened until I heard the judge say something like, "Please tell me we did not sit a victim next to a defendant."
At a restitution hearing inside a DeKalb County courtroom.
All of the adrenaline hit my body, and so I couldn't walk and I couldn't breathe.
Laura King was swept back into her violent attack.
I was arm in arm with him. We were so close, we were actually touching.
4 years prior, the same man robbed and assaulted her, leaving her bruised inside this parking garage at the Edgewood Shopping Plaza.
I've been in therapy, both emotional and physical therapy, for every month for 4 years since this happened. I have physical and emotional scars that I don't think I'll ever heal.
Ethan Gathright and his co-defendant were convicted for the attack. Gathright was sentenced to 12 years with 5 to be served.
I'm registered for notification for when they change correctional facilities or if they're coming up for parole, and I was never notified.
So how did this happen? DeKalb County DA Sherry Boston.
The co-defendant in that case just happened to be in court for an entirely different proceeding.
The DA says Laura King's restitution hearing was with the other defendant, Stephen Sprigner, but whenGathright's name was called, King thought it was for her case.
It was a horrible, unfortunate coincidence.
Still, Laura King feels like she was not protected.
What really failed me is the notification system, in my opinion.
And we learned late today the Department of Community Supervision is responsible for notifying victims when there are changes with their attacker. But Ms. King says she was receiving those notifications up to a certain point and then they stopped. So we will be following up with that department to figure out why that happened. All right, well, we begin our speed feed tonight in Gwinnett County. A father accused of shaking his infant daughter to death was charged with her murder today. Hecare Rios is accused of killing 2-month-old Maya Lynn Race. Family members defended Rio today, but the judge said he will stand trial. New forensic sketches could help investigators identify remains of a Jane Doe found near a Banks County church last year. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill grilled Secretary of State for details about President Trump's closed-door meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, but the tense talk yielded little details.
Senator, I understand the game that you're playing.
No, we don't know what the truth is.
While the White House announced today a second meeting between President Trump and Putin in Washington will be postponed until next year.
Back to school season is here, and school staff are preparing to keep students safer than ever in the classroom. Today in Douglas County, we were there as active shooter training was carried out. One new item this year during training, firefighters are being kept closer to the school building than ever before. The goal, if a shooting happens, get them in as soon as possible to deal with any victims.
The sole winner of the Mega Million lottery remains a mystery tonight, but the ticket holder isn't the only one cashing in. The owner of Ernie's Liquors in San Jose, California will receive $1 million check just for selling the winning ticket at the store.
The United States is a country where you can realize your dreams really well. If you work hard, you work honestly.
The internet is going insane over this baby bombshell. April the giraffe is pregnant with calf number 5. Consumer alert. 7,000 cases of Taco Bell queso are now recalled over concerns of botulism. And Ashley Johnson is here tonight to break down what is botulism and why it's so dangerous. Ashley.
Natisha, botulism is a rare but serious illness that's caused by a toxin that can cause paralysis and eventually death.
The warning about botulism and Taco Bell's queso cheese dip is trending on Twitter. Take a good look at the jar. Kraft Heinz is getting off the shelves quickly. Botulism is caused by a toxin made by the bacteria Clostridium botulinum. It thrives in low oxygen or no oxygen environments like vacuum-sealed jars. Symptoms include vision problems, drooping eyelids, slurred speech, difficulty swallowing, and muscle weakness. It's hard for doctors to diagnose, but once discovered can be treated with antitoxin drugs.
And just in case you were wondering, yes, Botox comes from the same toxin.
Botox, okay, that's a little scary. Thanks a lot, Ashley. A big developing story tonight, folks. It's a contentious night in Cobb County as one of the lowest tax counties in the metro area considers raising property taxes now. Ryan Kruger joins us live from Cobb County. And Ryan, there's a lot of fiery debate tonight. We talked about this at 10 o'clock, and I suspect that it's continuing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, Ron, especially whenever the vote came in right at 10 o'clock that Cobb County will be paying higher property taxes next year than they've paid before. And what was interesting is, Cobb County is a very conservative area. You would think most of the voters were against the property taxes. Certainly a lot of them were, but it was almost half and half. A lot of people saying they wanted to raise their own taxes to pay for things like better police services, keep their parks open. Meanwhile, there were a lot of opponents who said there are other places where you can cut instead of raising taxes.
My God, I will give up a Starbucks so that our police have whatever the hell they want.
This is nothing more than taking from those with the greatest ability and giving to those with the greatest need.
We used to be the benchmark in Metro Atlanta for being the best, and I fear we will lose that if we don't correct course tonight.
I urge the commissioners to vote no on the unnecessary, harmful millage increase and no on the shamefully bloated new budget.
Maybe some of the commissioners would prefer that we move out of Cobb so that a younger family can move in and pay higher taxes.
For my purposes, you'd want to raise it 1.9 or 2.1, that'd be fine with me too, because I expect the best in this county. And whatever the best costs, I expect you to deliver.
So how did we get here? Cobb County leaders say there's a budget shortfall somewhere between $30 and $55 million. They threatened to shut down up to 10 county parks if they couldn't pass the proposed tax increase. So let's take a look at what Cobb County residents will now have to pay. Let's say you own a $200,000 home. Well, your county property taxes were likely just under $2,000 this year. Under the new millage rate, you would see an increase of a little more than $300 a year. That's about $26 a month. Cobb County, of course, is famous for having some of the lowest taxes in the metro area, especially compared to the other counties of the same size. And so even with the increase, Cobb County will still be lower than other counties like Gwinnett, Fulton, DeKalb County. It was a 3-2 vote, very close. Meanwhile, County Chairman Mike Boyce says with the additional increase that you're going to have, he does believe not only will they be able to keep all the parks open, but that they will be able to restore some of the cuts that the county made during the recession. Ron?
All right, Ryan in Cobb County for us tonight. Thanks a lot.